Hello, my name is Becky and I am the owner of iHeart Art Studios. Thank you so much for hopping online to check out this free online class. Did you get one of these from me? These paints, they can be activated by just using water. When you're done painting, if there's still little drops, like if it's still kind of thick, just let it dry on here. You can activate it again by using water. I love teaching beginners how to paint, and I do a lot of classes here in my studio. I'm located at 340 West Grand Avenue, downtown-ish area, Wisconsin Rapids, and I do a lot with acrylic paint, but today I'm going to show you a really simple way that you can create with this watercolor paint. You should also have a little sheet, a little square sheet. This is watercolor paper that you can use to paint on. And I am just gonna remove the staple from this little sheet here. Just remove it carefully. You can pause this if you need to, come back to it at any time. If you wanna do it over and over, that's totally fine. A couple things that we're gonna need to use this little watercolor palette is masking tape, because we do add water to our paper, so there could be some curling. I am just using a clipboard, but you can tape it right to the table if you would like. I also have a big cup of water to use because we need water to activate our paints and to clean our brush. You could use Q-tips to move the paint around if you don't have a paintbrush, or I will be using, basically it's like a number 8 round brush or any type of round paintbrush. You can get little cheap paintbrushes even at Walmart, and I know our town doesn't have a ton of art supplies, but Walmart usually has a pretty good supply of paintbrushes that you can get, and I would definitely recommend getting yourself just a round brush is all you need, but they usually come in packs, so you'd want to do that. Some sort of paper towel or napkin is going to be important because we use this to help create our painting, and then we also need this to sometimes dry our brush. So I'm gonna bring you over here, set you down so you can kind of see what is happening, and I hope you enjoy this little tutorial. I'm going to list all of the supplies that would be very helpful for this painting right on the screen. You're going to need this watercolor paper and those little dots of watercolor paper. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my masking tape, and I'm going to start taping down my paper. I like to just tape a little bit of the paper. Make sure that you pull your masking tape long enough to cover the whole edge. The bottom one there, it was a little bit short, but I'm gonna make sure I can cover it by using this one, and then I'm just gonna pull longer masking tapes for the rest of it. So make sure all of your sides are taped down. Then go ahead and get your supplies near you. I am right-handed, so it is the most helpful to have all of my supplies on the right hand of me. I'm gonna take my paper towel, I'm gonna tear it in half, and then I'm gonna just kind of fold it. We're gonna use this to do our clouds, so I want to have kind of a rough edge, and then I'm gonna tear it again, so I can have 2 different style clouds. Just set those aside. Then I'm going to activate my watercolors. Now, if you don't have a brush and you just wanna use a Q-tip, you can do this. Just dip into the water and just put a little bit of little drops of water right on there. Now, you're gonna wanna use a couple Q-tips because you don't want the colors to mix right away. And you can also do this with your paintbrush. Just put your brush in the water and just put little taps of water drops on those colors. It activates pretty quickly. It does not take long at all. So I'm just showing the different ways that you can do that. And here, I'm gonna just kind of show you, this is in real time, it's already starting to activate that blue paint. So with my brush wet, I'm gonna just kind of roll it around in the blue, and I am gonna cover my little sheet with the blue watercolor. Now this part, if you wanted to add clouds, you do have to go kind of quickly. This is real time, but dip in the water, dip in the paint, and then cover your background with the blue watercolor. Then, before it dries, take your paper towel and lightly dab near the top, and it will pull off the watercolor that you just put on. I like to kind of rip 2 different ones so that way I have different shapes of clouds. Then I'm just gonna let it be. Clouds are very abstract, so don't worry too much. It's all about having fun. It's not about being perfect. I'm gonna come back in and just put a little bit of the darker blue underneath the clouds, just kind of letting it go where it wants to. Now you could keep it like this. However, I was like thinking to myself, oh, I think I want to add some red to it. And I wasn't a huge fan of how it turned out. It ended up getting a little dark for me, and so I put it on there. But the nice thing about that is, look, I can dry it off on my paper towel and then just sweep off the wetness, and it will help mute that color. So this looks like a pretty nice sky, I feel like. I'm just kind of adding a little bit more blue back in so it's not too weird, and just, you know, red and blue make purple, so you can add a little bit of purple underneath there if you would like. And then once you have your sky how you would like it, we do need to let it dry all the way before the next step. So might want to pause. So I'm going to come back and I am going to just kind of mix a couple colors together here. I'm going to be putting in like 4 levels of mountains, but I want to have a darkest shade. So kind of seeing here how I've just taken a little bit of blue, moved it over with the red, and now I have this purpley color. I'm just going to kind of put this purpley color on there and drag it all the way down. I want it to be light, so see how I kind of wiped it off on my paper towel, and now I'm taking a dry brush over it and it's pulling off some of the paint. This will lighten the background a little bit, then let it dry. Now it's dried, so I'm coming back again, and I want my color to be a little bit darker. So this time I'm going to take just the blue, and then I think I'm just taking the blue, and I'm going to add another abstract little line going across. There can be some bumps and wiggles. They're just hills in the distance. Remember, it's all about having fun. It's not about being perfect. So don't get hung up on the way that your hills look. This is just fun for practicing. Once you have that on there, let it dry again. I forgot to record one time. I did one level with a little bit of blue and black, and then I let it dry, and now I'm coming back with my final layer. It's just pure black that I'm putting on here. And this is just the very forefront of the picture, so it's nice and dark. And once you have this, you also want to let it dry. Don't be pulling off the tape yet. I will show you a trick to get that tape off of there. Otherwise, it could rip the paper. So here I'm just kind of adjusting my hills and just having it look a little bumpier and having some fun with it. So go ahead and just create your skyline, your little hills, however you want to. This way I can kind of see all 4 layers of my mountains. And you can just do 3 if you would like, or you can just keep adding and doing more and more if you would like also. How did you do? When it is at this point and it's all dry, what you're gonna wanna do is you can carefully peel off the masking tape, but there is a chance that it would tear the paper when you're pulling it off. So one thing that I like to recommend doing is using a blow dryer. That will loosen the glue that is on the masking tape, and it will allow it to come off without ripping the paper. So I'll show you how to do that. Once you've removed the tape from there, then it will leave this little edge around, and it looks super professional. And I hope that you feel successful in your painting that you did with watercolor. If you have little bumps that are left on there, then just let it dry and you can reuse it again. If you would like to continue to be inspired and learn just to paint, I love teaching beginners. And I promise you, I would go step by step, just breaking things down into pretty simple explanations so that way you can feel really successful at the end. I love to inspire people to create, whether you are here in the studio or you are online. Check out just about anything online at iHeartArtStudios.com. There is an S at the end of studios. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/iHeartArtStudios. I do a lot on TikTok. If you are on TikTok and you want to check me out, I'm almost at 50,000 followers, which is crazy. I'm also on Instagram at iHeartArtStudios, and so you can go ahead and find me, but here is how it turned out. I hope that you had fun during this class. Please reach out to me. My number is online, or you can email me at iHeartArtStudios@gmail.com. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed your little watercolor. Have a wonderful day and just keep on being creative. Bye.